Hello and welcome to episode 29 of the Lonely Knitter podcast. Hi, my name is Laura and I am a yarn dyer and a yarn festival director from the most easterly town in England. I am coming to you from Folk Yarn Studio, which is my workspace here in Lowestoft, which is in Suffolk. This is my happy little corner of the internet where I come to talk about my crafty life and the general chaos that goes on around here. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back, come on in. Thank you so much, you're an absolute legend. If you are a new viewer, hi, welcome to the chaos. Be warned, I do tend to rabbit on. You are very welcome. Whether you are new or returning, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. If you do like this video and you fancy giving me a thumbs up and a subscribe if you haven't already, I would appreciate it so much. You can find me in a few places, my website, which is Folk Yarn Studio, and the show website, which is East Anglia Yarn Festival. I am Folk Yarn Studio and East Anglia Yarn Festival over on Instagram, but the place you can find me most often is on my Discord group. The Folk Yarn Studio hangout over on Discord is a free, fun, friendly place where we come and chat mainly about crafting, but it's also where you can join in on the Makealongs that I run alongside my podcast. So it's the place you want to be if you want to have a chance at winning some fun prizes as well. On that note, before I get into the podcast properly today, I will talk about my Makealongs. Today is Thursday, the 24th of April, and my brain is all over the place. And we have a few Makealongs going at the moment. The first one, the one that runs all the time, is my Finished Objects prize draw thread that is in the Discord group, and that is basically if you have knit something or crocheted something or made something that is 50% or more my yarn, and that's either the Lonely Knitter hand-dyed yarn or folk yarn, which is behind me. Then you can enter it into this thread, and each quarter I pick a few winners just for a bit of fun really, and I love to see the things that you make in my yarn. I also have a fun little thread over there, a channel for 5 minutes a day, which is the crafting challenge that I'm trying to do. It's just a little remember to let yourself have a little bit of fun, a little bit of you time each day, and yeah, I try my best to check in there every day with like what I've done for 5 minutes, because otherwise I tend to let life take over and I get a little bit, yeah. It's a little reminder space for a happy corner of the internet. But there is one really fun, slightly different Makealong going on at the moment, and that is the Friends That Grimble Together Makealong. That is being co-hosted with my lovely friend Helen of the Giddy Knits podcast, and we are making Gnomes by Sarah Schira. So these are knitting patterns for amazing gnomes, not just the gnomes of Grimblewood, not just the gnomes in this book. I'm going to get the book. I don't know why I don't ever just start with the book. This is the book I am working through. I do stock this book over on my website, but these are patterns by Sarah Schira. Sarah also has other amazing patterns on her website and a free one as well. So you don't even have to buy a pattern if you don't want to join in and see how you feel about gnomes, but I imagine that you'll feel just the way that I do, and if you go and knit the free gnome, you may then become addicted and want to make all the gnomes. So your gnomes don't just have to be from this book, but you can check out the Discord thread, and there is a video further back on my channel where me and Helen chat all things gnome. We are coming up, I think it's next month, might be the one after, but my brain is a sieve. We are coming up to our first check-in point, so you don't have to knit all the gnomes and you don't have to knit them to a schedule, but every gnome that you finish and put into the Finished Objects threads on both my Discord group and Helen's will count towards prizes. So if you're making a gnome, jump on in because it's a lot of fun. And that is all of the Makealongs that are running at the moment, but I do have one coming up, which will be the Advents of Summer Makealong, which is a Makealong that I am going to be running throughout June, July, August and September, I think we're going to go for, where you can use up anything Advent themed really. But if you have a yarny Advent hanging around that you really want to make something with, I just thought it would be a bit of a fun. I have lots of Advents from amazing dyers that I want to knit through, and I'm going to challenge myself to get through at least one of them this summer. Now, it has only been 5 days since I last recorded because the Easter holidays happened and I got off of schedule, which meant I came in here on Saturday to record, and it is only now Thursday. So I haven't actually had that much crafting time. Saying that, I have a finished object. So let's jump in, because otherwise I will ramble forever. How have I lost him already? I've lost my gnome. Found him. Okay, here we go. Lost him for a little while there. This is my latest gnome. I started and finished a gnome since last recording. This is a Gnomes of Grimblewood gnome. So if you've been watching, you'll know that I got behind. East Anglia Yarn Festival, the yarn show that I run, was in March, and everything is very chaotic before that point. I got behind with my own Makealong. I thought it would happen at some point, to be honest. Anyway, I had one gnome for January and February, which was Nolan. And then I had one gnome for March, one gnome for April. Those are the ones that I need to get caught up on. So this is our dear friend Gnoddy. I don't know if you can see this. I don't know if it's focusing. So Gnoddy is the Earflap gnome. I'm so sorry about the seagulls if you can hear them. I am wearing a mic, so hopefully the audio is better than it has been in previous episodes. However, I am right by the sea when I say I'm in the most easterly town of England. I am literally a few minutes walk from the easterly point, and we are a seagull haven. Sometimes they get a little bit ferocious in the car park. It's scary. I wouldn't go out there, but we get to listen to them. Apologies. Anyway, Gnoddy the Earflap gnome is from the Gnomes of Grimblewood book, and this was meant to be my March gnome, but March, as it always does, went a little chaotic because of the show. But I have now finished. Come on, there we go. My little Earflap gnome. It's so cute. Yeah, so this is Gnoddy. Oh my gosh, the ear flaps. I can't get over the ear flaps. I decided to make Gnoddy. I knew I wanted to catch this up. This is one of my aims for this week's podcast, was to catch up a little on the Gnomes of Grimblewood Makealong and finish a gnome, but I hadn't actually started a gnome. So you might remember, if you've watched previous episodes, that I ripped out my Sweet Shop blanket because I didn't want to use the undyed DK weight for the contrast colour. I decided to dye up a contrast colour. I had all these little balls, and I mean it, I had all these little balls from where I ripped out of DK weight undyed yarn, and I saw them on the table when I was grabbing things together to make a gnome, and I thought, I'm going to make a DK weight gnome because I hadn't actually made a DK weight one yet. So I used the undyed yarn left over from that and 3 minis. So these are my yarn, so these are the Lonely Knitter yarn, and they are all from last year's advent calendar. Ooh, can we see that? There we go. So these are all from last year's advent calendar. I did an All of Time and Space advent last year, so Doctor Who themed. And let me put this one down. So the bottom, the ear flaps and the bobble are all in Flare and Fade, which is this blue. And then the actual body of the hat is in 900 Years. And then the sweater is made from Quality Enemies. And then obviously the undyed was for the hands and the nose and the beard. So yeah, I love this gnome. Incredibly cute. Can now join some of the other gnomes. You can sit there, my friend. Oh no, maybe there. I don't know if he's going to stay. He does have a weighted bottom, but it's not a very heavy weighted. That sounds rude, doesn't it? It's not a very heavily weighted bottom because I was running out of the weight that I used. I used little wooden pellets in his base this time, which I did with another one. I did it with the Someone to Write Gnome About mini as well, and it worked really well with my Someone to Write Gnome About mini, but I didn't have tons left for my Earflap gnome, for my little Gnoddy. So I had a few dyed up of these colours, so I don't know if anyone would be interested and wanted to match me with a Gnoddy gnome, but by the time this episode goes up onto the YouTubes, hi me, I will have popped a few more gnome kits up. I think there is one Professor Fungi Pretty Fly for a Fungi set left on the website now, and 2 I Love You So Much Professor Fungi kits. So those are the only 2 gnome kits that I have up at the moment, but by the time this goes live there will also be, I think I have 3 kits worth of these popped up on the site as well, so that if anybody does fancy making up my colourway of Gnoddy the Earflap gnome, or any gnome that takes 4 DK weight mini skeins, they will be up on the site shortly. That is my only finished objects. On to whips. I'm going to start with this one because it is closest and I have actually finished this row. So I showed you this in the last episode, but I only had the teeny tiniest little bit of triangle on the first square, and now I am almost finished with square number 6. I'm really happy with how this is going, and I'm really glad I ripped out. It was the right decision. I've got further than I ever got before I ripped out. Before I ripped out, I had 3 squares done and then I'd stalled. And I think it's because I knew that I wanted the dyed colour and not the undyed. So I'd got this one and this one done. I ripped all of those out and now I am this far. So it is January, and then we go into February, and in a little while I'll start March. These are the We Got This mini skein club from this year. This is my mini skein club. I've got the DK Weight minis, so I'm trying to catch up with my own club. I'm always playing catch up with my own club, catch up with my own Makealong, all the catch up. Yeah, chaos reigns supreme over here. I'm really enjoying it. I'm hoping that by the time I record next week, I will be completely caught up, because if I can get almost six squares done in 5 days, and I now have, I'm going to try and record on Wednesday next week, so an extra day on that, why can't I do another 6 squares? That's what I have to do to get completely caught up on this club. We'll see. I am the queen of saying stuff and not doing it. My next whip is still not finished. I've talked about this a few times and said I wanted to have it finished, and it's still not finished. This is a mini scarf from my head. It's a pattern from my head. I have written it out. It is in a notebook. Yeah. My brain is not ready to brain after the Easter holidays. I am still in a bit of a my kids, if you haven't watched before, are 5 and 8. It's been a lot. Now they're back at school. They're amazing. I love them to pieces, but trying to work and earn a living and parent and everything on the holidays, I burnt out a little bit, but I have, you might be able to see, got progress. So the main reason I didn't finish this week is because I lost the notebook. Typical me, lost the notebook that I need because it had all the notes in for this pattern. I found it again yesterday and quickly chugged through. I did not put a progress keeper in because I am not that clever, but I was about there last time. So I've got a big chunk of body of this scarf done. It is now ready to have the little decrease section at that end, because it's not going to be very long, because it's either just going to go around my neck or probably be a hairband, and I don't want it to be massively long. So, and I've just noticed a mistake I've made in my own pattern. Brilliant. What's life without a bit of fun? Anyway, this will be done next week by hook or by crook, because it only needs that last little bit. But the reason that I haven't been able to finish it in time for this episode is because I actually have to write this little bit, because again, pattern in my head, and I want to reverse my little faux cable that I've done at the very start to finish it off. So yeah, this scarf has been worked on this week, is still not finished. I keep saying it's going to be finished every week. I'm like, it's going to be finished next week. It needs to actually be finished next week. We'll see. Please hold me to account on that one. So this is knit from Balmerino Farm DK. I don't have the ball band because I am useless. And it is living in this gorgeous vinyl clear fronted Josie Rose bag. Josie Rose is a bag maker local to me who vends at East Anglia Yarn Festival. I got this one at this year's show and I love this bag. So it is living in here. I need this to be done as well so that I can put a next project into here and use this for something that doesn't need so much braining, because this is a pretty detailed pattern. I don't think I could do it without looking or without having the pattern nearby, and I want this to be socks or something that I can easily carry around with me. My next whip, last whip, it is my last whip that I have to show you is the Granny Bells wrap top. And I did find my missing triangles, because I have had people ask, oh, it's my scissors. I've been looking for those. And a load of rubbish. What did there's loads of stuff that I've left in the bottom. So I found my 2 triangles, and I have done probably about like half a round on this since last week, because I've been focusing on other things and my kids weren't actually back to school until Tuesday, so I didn't have a huge amount of crafting time, but we still have the 2 triangles. So the wrap front part of this is done. And then the back, where we are still about here. So I haven't done tons on this. This still needs a little bit of progress before I can join it to the fronts and get going on things like the sleeves. I think that's what's next. I don't know. I can't remember. Yeah, I would like some progress on this next week, but you know, I want progress on a lot of things. Huh? This is being crocheted from the Fibre Fox DK in Yennefer of Vengerberg, and it is living in this beautiful Pigment Ply bag. I love this bag. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Those are all my whips. I don't have any stash enhancement. I haven't bought anything since I last recorded. I think last time I'd recorded, I just bought my self-striped sock advent calendar for this year from Spin and Leather. but I haven't bought anything that I can remember or think of since then. Yeah, advent calendars, well, we're on that vein. My Buffy advent calendar that I am creating this year. Thank you so much if you have chosen one of my advent calendars. I know that times are tough for a lot of folks at the moment, they especially are for us, and yeah, anybody that's supported my business, full stop, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. And yeah, I can't wait for Advent. I'm working on it already. I'm having a lot of fun. My Buffy Advent, I think I have 14 spots left is my max that I can take, and I may well just close that off anyway next week, just so I don't have to think about it anymore and can just concentrate on everything. But if you did want one, now is the time to sort of jump in for one of those last spots. Otherwise you can wait for spares that may come up in sort of October time, though I will say now, I don't guarantee anyone a spares spot. It's going to be on a first come, first served. I don't want to be unfair if people are looking to get them later on, and this is the point where you would reserve it if you want it now, and now I'm creating it on a pre-order basis, and then if you would like to grab a spare, they may be available, but there are lots of amazing yarn advents out there, and everyone has spares come up, so you know, if you're more into getting it at that point, there'll be loads of options, but it is also the last point over the next sort of week until I take them down, unless we hit the final number. It's your last chance to sign up for the instalment plan. So I run an instalment plan on it so that if folks want to spread the cost, they can do. It doesn't cost you any extra at all. But yeah, just can make it a little bit more affordable. I use payment plans when I buy advents, so I like to offer it as an option. So before I get into plans and then life stuff, reading, watching and all that stuff, I did say, and I did do it last week for the first time, that I would feature a product on each episode. So I thought I'd go sort of a little bit of a range of products this time, and this is something I really, really love. So this isn't something I make. Again, I talked about the fact that I make my yarn, I make quite a few patterns, I make folk yarn, I make lonely knit hand dyed, but my kids are little and trying to find ways to make my business work as much as possible, and one of those things is trying to support other businesses and other makers, and I found this company online and just fell in love. So I have a whole range from this maker, but what I'm going to show you today is notepads from Olora. Now, my name is Laura, solidarity with another Laura. These are, I think she's based in Sheffield, and yeah, small business, the Olora notepads. So I will put pictures of these on screen rather than trying to get it to zoom in, but I have a little range of the memo pads and notepads from Olora, and I really wanted to talk about them. So I have this one, which is a memo pad that is one thing at a time, which I need to say to myself all the time. And this one, which I specifically chose because I have a friend who always asks me what my 3 tasks for the day are going to be, because if you stack up a to-do list that is horrendously long, for me, I tend to just then walk away from it because it's too scary. But this is today's 3 tasks. And yeah, I fell in love. When I saw that, I was like, yes, need that in my life. And the next 2 are sort of along the same vein, but they are kind of incentive to-do lists, which again, I really need in my life sometimes. But I have mini bingo and then to-do list bingo, and they're awesome. I love the idea that you can put a prize, like an incentive at the top, and I'm going to use some of these myself and maybe vlog with them a little bit, but you put a prize and then you fill up your to-do list, and then yeah, this one has like a prize, and then when you fill your 9 spots you get your prize. But this one, it has a prize section for the line and for the full board. So yeah, I just thought they were really cool. The fact that it was from a business called Olora, it's printed in the UK, from an artist, a real person in the UK, and I just thought they were awesome, and I wanted to bring those to my business. So those are all up on the website. If you're interested, you can have a look. There's a whole range of other things. There's a few more notebooks. There's a planner, which is awesome, and some key rings and things like that. So yeah, if you would like to have a look, feel free. If not, no worries. I may well bring some of these to some vlogs that I really want to get up on the channel, because they're a lot of fun and I think they would actually work for me. Moving on to plans. So my plans for the next week, I want to be caught up completely on my Sweet Shop blanket. I want to have some progress. I don't want to abandon the Granny Bells wrap top. I want to start my next gnome, but I think I am now thinking I might dye yarn for my next gnome, so I will be starting on it, but I might not be very far on it. And I want to have this tiny scarf finished. It is too small to still be in my life. So yeah, progress. And I'm not talking right now about casting anything else on, because I do this to myself other than the gnome, because we're in that Makealong. That's a whip. That doesn't even really count. I'm not going to talk about casting anything else big on right now, because otherwise I'm just not going to finish the things that I've got going on. I'm just going to start new stuff because that is what my brain always wants to do. When I say I'm thinking about dyeing up something to make my next gnome in, that is a May the 4th idea. Obviously, Star Wars Day is coming up, and I have previous Star Wars colours that I was thinking about bringing back, but I think actually I've got something else in my brain. So I think I might need to have a Star Wars Day shop update and have yarns in there that I'm also going to be using in my gnome and make a little Star Wars gnome. I might be talking out a bit too hard. Is that too weird? Is that too nerdy? I don't know. Star Wars gnome needs to happen. Okay, I'm on to reading. Reading, I have finished Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. That is Haymitch's book from the Hunger Games series. It was brilliant. I cried like a baby. And completely am with Haymitch for any behaviour in future books. Completely. I'm with him. 100%. I loved it. Read it. I was also listening to an audiobook when I spoke to you last, which was Gotta Get Through This. I have written it down. It is My Life in Strange Times in Television, which is by Louis Theroux. It's just him talking about him, and I decided to listen to it, and oh my gosh, it helped me with staying focused on work. I loved it. Wasn't always able to pay complete attention because I was working at the same time, but because of the way his book was structured, you didn't have to be totally 100% focused on every little thing he was saying, and I could let my mind wander a little, but still take it in. The subjects he's talking about aren't particularly savoury in a lot of cases, but it's more interesting and, you know, a reminder of what the world can be like. And yeah, I found it really, really interesting, really like his voice to listen to. It was really easy and enjoyed it. So my first audiobook at work done. And I did do what I said I was going to do last week. I'm reading one paper book. Here we go. So I started The Seaside Sleepover by Jacqueline Wilson, which I'm really enjoying. It's a children's book. I'm reading it more to see if it's suitable for my daughter. I'm only on page 17. I'm enjoying it so far. It's so lovely to get back into the world that Jacqueline Wilson sort of builds, because it's so relatable. It's so easy to read. I mean, it's a children's book, but it's easy to read, and you just get this feeling that when you're reading her stuff, some of the things you're like, there are children in the world that need to read this and see themselves in this book. And but this morning was the first time that I took the dust jacket off and realised how amazing this cover is. I don't know if you can see this. I'm bending it back. That's not good. How amazing is that hardback cover? Anyway, I'd like to have that finished by next week, because obviously it doesn't take a huge amount of time to read. They're large words on a page. There's not a huge amount of words on a page. I'd love to just power through this one, and I've got tons more that I would like to read. So Seaside Sleepover, enjoying it so far, but only on page 16. I also started a book on my Kindle, which I have now lost. There it is. I have also started a book on my Kindle, which so far I'm not having an issue keeping the two separate. I started The Vampire Knitting Club, which is the first book in the series by Nancy Warren. It's just because my Kindle is backlit and I like to read a little bit before I fall asleep, and I don't want to disturb Chris, so having that means I have options. And then because I finished Louis Theroux's audiobook, I really wanted to start another one. I had Is It Just Me by Miranda Hart, so Miranda Hart's book, in my Audible library from forever ago, when I must have bought it back when I had credits, when I had a membership. I don't have a membership at the moment. And I've started that one on dog walk last night, and I love Miranda Hart, and I absolutely do want to listen to her book, but she's quite chaotic like me and does a lot of voices and things like that, so I'm not 100% sure I'm going to be able to keep up with what's going on and let my brain wander a little like it did in the Louis Theroux book, but I'm going to persevere because it's fun and I want to listen to it. And at one point I did actually spend an Audible credit on it, so I want to actually get my use out of that. In terms of watching, I have carried on with Wheel of Time, but it's only been a few days of the kids being back at school and I haven't had a lot of watching time. So I think I'm now on Series 2, Episode 5. I've seen Series 2 before. I just want to rewatch of Series 2 before I watch Series 3. I am watching Doctor Who. Lux was Saturday's episode. It's the second episode of this current series and I really enjoyed it. I don't really have a lot of comments on it other than I just love it and sit there and just soak it in. But yeah, looking forward to Saturday for another episode of Doctor Who. And then I haven't really watched anything else. I have tons to catch up on YouTube. Loads of my friends have put podcast episodes up and I just haven't had a chance to watch it. We've watched one YouTube channel together, myself and Chris. We were looking for something else to watch, but we hadn't had a lot of time. We'd both been working in the evenings. And I thought I'd mention this one. We watched a man called Freddie Dobbs, who is a motorcyclist. So those of you who've been watching for a while, you know that I learnt to ride a motorbike last year. Chris did as well. And I ride a Royal Enfield Interceptor 650. I love riding, but I don't get a huge amount of time to do it. And that's okay. I'm just not really in a point in my life where you get to go out all the time. I'm working and I've got little kids and things like that. But Freddie Dobbs, his YouTube channel, he goes off on some absolute adventures and they look amazing. And because he's going from the UK, it's the sort of thing that we're making sort of future plans of stuff we'd love to do when we're a little bit older and can go off just us two for a little bit. Little plans of things we'd like to do. We just finished watching this series he did he went to Sardinia from the UK. Was it Sardinia? I'm sure it was. On his motorbike and just his little adventures and stuff like that. And it makes it very clear to me that I cannot do something like that at the moment because I need to know at least basic how to fix my bike if it breaks. Hilariously, and little ears, if you've got any little children around right now, pause, don't play this little bit for like less than a minute. He's got quite a posh accent, Freddie Dobbs, and we love him, but I don't know, Chris named him this, but now it's what he's affectionately known as in our house. We'll call him Posh Bollocks. I don't know why. Yeah. He is fondly named Posh Bollocks in our house. So life stuff, my kids went back to school and I had a little bit of quiet for the first time in a few weeks and I'm getting there. Thank you so much to everyone that has commented or talked about what I talked about last week in terms of health things and getting my appointments, and I haven't had anything through yet, but my referrals gone in and stuff like that. I really appreciate it. It's really makes you feel a little bit less alone, and I think all of us as well, you know, behind the camera, we all have lives, we've all got stuff going on, and it is easy to feel alone. And every time that I've come to this space to talk about stuff that's gone on with me, it's been so wonderful to feel like I'm not on my own with stuff. Things like my dental plate, things like my hypermobility, things like potential EDS and all that sort of thing. I feel like I have this community that I can come to that I feel really safe with and people who get it. And I think sometimes it's very easy to feel very on your own in the world, and this place is a happy place that makes me not feel like that, so I appreciate you. And because it hasn't been a full week, I haven't actually had loads and loads of stuff on or happening. I didn't go to the book club on the weekend because it was Easter Sunday, but I would like to go this weekend. I don't know what we're doing. I think my youngest has children's parties. I'll be going to children's parties at the weekend. Yeah. Gonna take my knitting and be the weird mum in the corner doing her knitting. I'm knitting in my book. Oh. Anyway, yeah. Oh, I did forget something. The East Anglia Yarn Festival Makealong for 2026. We are currently collecting suggestions over on the Instagram and Facebook posts for that account for our patterns. So I run a knit and a crochet Makealong every year. As part of the show, you can knit or crochet the patterns that we pick or we end up voting for together, and then you can get a free ribbon award if you wear your project to the show and clip it on. It's a little bit of fun, but folks are suggesting them at the moment, and I'm hoping to close that at the weekend and then put up the voting for the final patterns, because most years I get to it quite late in the year. We don't have a huge amount of time, and I know it puts a lot of people off. I didn't start my Daft Days cardigan until the end of January this year, and as usual I didn't finish it in time for the show, finished it in the start of April, trying to get myself a little bit more organised for this year. So yeah, if you would like to be part of having a say in what patterns we vote for in terms of knit and crochet for this year's East Anglia Yarn Festival, head over to the accounts for those and we will get on it over there. I think that's everything. I am trying not to rabbit on too much because I have to leave now to go and collect my children. So yeah, I need to get going. But if you've got all the way to here with me on this ramble, thank you so much. And leave me an emoji. As we talked about notepads this week, is there a pen emoji? Is there a pen emoji? If you got all the way to the end, leave me a pen emoji. I really appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. And thank you, as always, for making me so much less of a lonely knitter.